Yo, what's up, guys? My name is SISTO, and I'm doing a track breakdown of the song Throwing Limbs. It's part of an EP I just put out on Malignant called Engulfed. I kind of want to break this down through the different elements, drums, synth, sub, and then kind of like the effects slash how I glue everything together in the project. I think I'm just going to start off with the drums because that's like the easiest thing to get at. Okay, so for the main intro section, I didn't have too many percussion slash drum things going on. It was really just the main synth stuff. But for the build and for the kicks, it was a crash and kick, and then I think a little snare roll towards the end here. So if as far as the kick goes, I really don't do a lot of compression on kicks. Usually it's really important for me to just try and get good sample selection. And I really just did a little bit of distortion, transient shaping, and a little bit of EQ. This is an Agony kick from, I think, like his first pack that he had put out. For the claps, I do a parallel process so that the mono signal doesn't get lost. It's really important to kind of, at least when you're trying to make loud claps over a kick, you don't want to lose your mono signal when you add space to it and reverb. So I'll usually just do some sort of parallel processing where one is the dry signal and then one has some stereo. And then again, I don't really use a lot of compression on drums. It's usually just transient shaping, saturation, distortion. For these guys, I put the same rack on all of them, and together it... Yeah. Crashes on all the downbeats, and these like kind of metal-ish rides. All of my rides, percussion stuff that I do during drops, I'll usually pan a little bit to the left or right, just because when it has enough stereo space on it, you can pan it and it won't really sound like it's panned. But when the mono signal from all your synths and subs are coming in, it won't like affect the like quality of the hi-hats too much, the fidelity. So here you can hear. And I Ozo imaged the ride here. But yeah, that's pretty much a breakdown of the drums. Nothing too crazy in the other intro, just these crashes. And then same build, same drums in the second part. But yeah, that's the drums. Okay, so kind of moving from front to back, I'm gonna do the intro elements. So one of the main things that I've been using a lot in my intros is Analog Lab. It's a synth that makes like really nice analog sounds with it still being digital, obviously. I'm just a big fan of that because analog synths kind of have this like imperfection to it that makes it sound more like natural and alive. Problem is there's a lot of feedback when you try to make it loud. So I end up having to cut the volumes on the fronts and back so that I don't hear the feedback throughout the whole song. If I go through this element right here, you can see it's really just OTT. I brought down the stereo a bit. I think I do some sort of, coarse pitch bend here. And the other elements come in. This is a perk loop that I think I just pitched down. Yeah, pitched down 21 semitones. And then it just has Camel Crush. And then I think I just down the low pass on it a bit. And then automate a mono for it for the very beginning so that it doesn't have the super wide stereo part in the beginning, because I like when the intro really like hits after the little break in the very beginning, that it has a little bit more impact. For these other elements, it's really just a bunch of perk sounds. I think this guy did some sort of effect to it. Yeah, so the main thing doing the delay is the Fly High preset on Rift here. It's got feedback, spin. Without it, I think it's just a regular ass sound. Yeah. So that does that. Again, just some OTT. I tamed back some of the side signal here. Took out the low end so that when the main body synths are playing, which I have this one in Serum. And like, I don't know, like I was saying, the like imperfections in that Analog Lab sound I fucking love. This is another layer on top. Really basic Serum stuff. And then a bit of a higher frequency one. Put dimension expander on there because the higher the frequencies, the wider I want it all together. And then you just got that percussion loop and the effect with the riff on it. And then the obvious sweeps that kind of bring you into each 8-bar section. And then for the build, it's the same ideas, just the percussion loop going down. It had that auto filter kind of peaking out. And that percussion's doing another low pass. And the pre-drop vocal, which I think was just from Splice. Yeah, with each and every step is what he says. And then darkness and some shit. Yeah. As far as the effects go, just a shit ton of multiband compression, G-clip, Camel Crush, and then the cabinet. I kind of like the muffled sound that's on that stuff. I changed a little bit of the melody here to be just a little more interesting. I'm sure I have something else in here. Maybe I think this might be a synth that I resampled. Yeah. Just in the background, but I'm gonna get into the synths in just a sec because I did. It's funny. This was pretty much the only song I felt like I could do a track breakdown of because all the other songs are already resampled into audio, and it would be really difficult to try and explain it to you. But the synths in this one, I think, are still an operator right now, so I can explain the shit that I did with these guys. But yeah, that was the intro section, elements, and build. So yeah, let's go on to the synths. The fake out right here is the same synth that's in this drop, so I'll just go over the drop synth and then I can kind of explain some of the differences in the rest of the sounds, but they're all pretty much the same patch with slight variations. Okay, so if I turn all of these effects off, it's just this. On operator A, you guys can kind of see the harmonics I drew. Then I FM it into this guy, FM'd into this guy, and then this has no FM on it. But the filter is getting automated here. Pitch envelope is just doing a 12 semitone pitch bend, so nothing too crazy. It's all the post-processing that I did. So, okay, so I separated the low end in one parallel and then the stereo in the other. So on the low end one, it sounds like shit when you have the compressors after it. It's just fucking super blown out. It's just 3 stock multiband compressor, OTT, a little bit of G-clip. Oh, not a little bit, 7. And then the EQ and a Camel Crush. And then the high end without this guy. The big guy doing the work here is the Rift, I believe. Yeah. So I have Borg after Rift doing this, and then a little bit of mid-side EQing because I wanted to push the mono signal because it was weak when I was first working on it. I probably could have gotten away with maybe dipping some of the side signal down too, but whatever. The Rift though, I can't remember what, I think I just did this one on my own. So it's doing an 8th note pattern. Again, I was kind of just fucking with the plugin and I got lucky. So if you want to change the vowel on this stuff, you could see up here, oh, you can't see because of the logo, but this, I automate throughout the different parts of the song because I'm reusing the same patch, but so it's really those resonant peaks that are giving it that vowel sound, and then this 8th note pattern on the cutoff that's just giving it that wobbliness that I was really happy with. And then when you put them together for whatever reason, and you have the clip after that kind of glues it all together, it just ended up gluing it really nicely. As far as the automations go, it really looks like I was just messing with the frequency on that Rift for the filter and the filter on the initial operator patch. Yeah. So here you can see I do like a little ramp up to 64, and this is on 60 for the Rift. So here. Which is just, again, the change of the cutoff for this filter on. Let me break down the downbeat stuff too. Same concept. It's got Rift on it. I think I increased the morph on this because the morph you can open and close whatever filter you have here. And all the different grain delay presets and just grain delay in general work really well as long as you make sure you don't lose your mono compatibility, because if you keep your dry wet all the way up, your side signals, if you're on the pitch envelope section, whatever you want to call it, it'll like, if you go into your master and you make it mono, it'll sound totally different. Like it makes the side signals a totally different sound from the middle mono signal. So you just have to be careful with that. That guy, again, another operator. You can pretty much see everything here. And Rift is doing the heavy work again. This one I used the low vowel low vowel section. Yeah, that thing is fucking crazy. I really love all of the vowel-y filters in Rift. All these sounds using the operator patch. Same deal. Same shit. And then for the 8th note section on the switch. Again, all one patch. I think I did some things different. I want to say these harmonics are a little bit different, but I kept the same post for the most part. Still pushing the mono signal. This one's on the low vowel, picked up the resonance, maybe moved the morph around a bit. And now the 8th note is actually moving to the 8th note compared to in the last one where it was quarter note, and it was moving to the 8th note, kind of giving it that wobble sound. Now it's actually doing like an 8th note vowel on it. Everything else the same. The crunch in the very beginning is the dynamic 2x12 with mono on the cabinet. I moved around the cutoff for these like kind of tail end fill parts. Some of these are resampled out of that same synth for sure. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the first drop. Yeah, let's move on to the second drop. All right, so for the second drop, I took the same synths, but kind of wanted to make it a little more flowy and less quarter note. It is automation from hell. This is going to be a bitch to explain. So I'll start from the bottom here. I take the volume and I pitch it down because each of those hits had too much of a tail and like you couldn't distinguish each individual hit. So I kind of just tailed it down to 0 as they played. And then the low, the filter's doing all this crazy movement. Course pitch isn't doing much, and I'm sure Rift is fine. Yeah. It's again the same patch, just with more flowy stuff to it. And I know I have another element going on underneath it somewhere. I think it's this percussion thing. Yeah, I took a percussion and just ramped it up with transposition just a little bit. And I do that for the next part. And for the switch, again, same fucking Rift patch, just now doing triplets. Yeah, without Rift, it's fills again, variations. And then I have kind of the same percussion thing continuing to pitch up. Yeah, on this one, because of how loud the individual synths were already, I didn't really use a lot to glue together the synths to the sub because, like, at least on the group like I normally do. Because most of the time when I'm making music, I have the synth separate from the sub. But on this one, they were together. So all of that smashing stuff is what basically put it all together. I only have a separate sub on these builds, actually. Everything else is just, you know, built into the synth. All right, so that's pretty much the full breakdown of Throwing Limbs. If you haven't already, go check out the rest of the EP, Engulfed EP, out on Malignant. Thank you, Malignant, for having me. I was super stoked to put out music with you guys. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace.